This actual building here was started in 1744, and what's significant about it is still here, okay? And so we're trying to make sure it stays here for a long time. It started off with a 2-room building, okay? And this is the way they built buildings in those days, so that you could add on to them. And the easiest way to add on was up and out this way. And so that's what we see here. We're in one of the 2 original rooms. And this room that's over here, that was added later. The room that's up above, that was added later. They would start off with just an attic up on top, and then they would just, so the buildings were actually built to add on to. As a matter of fact, this room that we're in right now was the greeting room for the library when you walked in. That wall over there, behind, right there, that wasn't even here. They tore that out, okay? And of course, when we got it back, we put it back in here again. These people learned how to, what they call cantilever, a set of staircases like this. There are 3 or 4 staircases like this in St. Mary's County. Sodderly Plantation has one, okay? And Bushwood Manor had one like this, okay? And that was just showing off. Yeah, they learned how to do something. Everybody's got to get up, jump on the bandwagon. This was called your passageway, your entrance passageway. A hall was your main room. Anybody had access to your hall. Now, when this house probably started out, this room over here was your parlor or your private chamber, okay? Nobody had access to that. But people, your door was always open. People could come in here, sit, and they would spend a day, 2 days, 3 weeks, until you had to give them the cold shoulder. That's the cold part of the meat. And that was their signal to get out of here. We've had enough of you. So that's why when somebody gives you the cold shoulder, that means they've had enough of you. And this is probably about an original section of the old house. We don't know when it was put in here, but this is your fireplace here, okay? And there would be slaves here cooking in this fireplace. And this right here is an oven. Okay, and these right here, little warming places right here. If you want to keep your food warm, look at that, huh? How about that? If you go through this door over here, this is where this was the slaves' entrance. This is where the slaves went upstairs to serve people. They were never going to go up those stairs there. This is a unique design here. It's a loggia, okay? And see how it's recessed into the. It's recessed in instead of having the porch extend out over the house. It's recessed in like that. Now, you see the front here, and we have a picture of this house, and those trees aren't even here. There's big trees, okay? They would never, ever put big trees in front of their house. They want to see what's coming here, okay? And that was very important in those days. To see who's going to come to your plantation, they would come up the bay in boats. They want to see that. Cattle, okay, he's raising here.
Yeah.
And what's he going to do? Put a fence up here to keep him out? Oh, you got to look at the stupid fence. That'll make this place look like you know what, right? So what he does, he puts a ha-ha fence up. And it's still here. And what they do here is they put this fence here, and the cattle come up to it and they can't get over the fence. But you can't see that fence from the house.
Oh.
Come right down here. Now this has all been replaced, okay? But this is where the original ha-ha fence would have been. Now, if you look up at the very top, do you see that thing? Up there, that's a widow's walk. And this way you could go up there and survey your land, okay, and make sure everybody's working, you know, because you can see a long way from up there. Yeah. But they called it a widow's walk. You see that thing right up there that looks like a backwards S? That holds the building together. That goes all the way out to the other side. That's the only reason that building's standing up. They go up there and there's some sort of nut on that thing. If they take that nut off, the whole building falls down. The families that lived here were unique. A Barnes family lived here, okay, and owned the land. And then a Mason family from Virginia came here and owned the land. And then the Key family, relation to Francis Scott Key, they had the land all the way up into the 1930s, okay? And then a Mrs. Davidson, whose picture's up on the wall, she acquired it and sold it to the St. Mary's County government for a memorial library, and it became a library, okay? And then the library sold it to the Historical Society. By the way, this is a picture of Abraham Barnes. He's the first guy that had it. It's the only picture we know of. That is not Santa Claus, okay? That's Mr. Abraham Barnes, and he was the first owner of this piece of land here. See that tree? He's buried under that tree. So they say, he's around here somewhere, because that's where they planted him, in here somewhere. This is our research library. We have all these over here are people's names. They're here from St. Mary's County names, okay? Over here are records concerning those people, censuses, land records, stuff like that, okay? Down here are old histories. We have old history books here. We have some old and real old, tremendous old history books here that we can do research on. These are spare books for they're out there. Our books are so old, when people start using them and they tear them up, guess what? We gotta have a spare for them. The only spares left right here. Over here are all our microfilms, okay? You want a wheel book from 1870? It's sitting up there somewhere. But your problem is you gotta sit there and get it on a machine out here and read it. Over here we have file cabinets. There's over 1,600 files in there with people's names in it. Now, this is a very interesting end of the building. You saw archives, okay? This is where we have some very unique records stashed, all right? There's our original records that somebody wrote in hand, and all we have to do with those is figure out who that was that wrote it, because their penmanship is atrocious. And this is our chief archivist, okay? It's Carol Moody, and she sits here and she takes all this stuff and scans it. Here's some work she's doing here. Look at that right there.
This was folded in fours, which you can see because of the way the dirt is. And this is paper from about in the 1850s.
Wow.
Blue paper. They always use blue paper. And it's very important that you care for this. All of these boxes here are specially made just for storing stuff.
Are there any interesting websites that people can go to?
Ours, by golly, yes, the St. Mary's County Historical Society. And it talks about this building, and another building we possess is the old jail that's over here. We talk about that. And basically we talk about what's available here now for people doing research, okay? Not only on ancestry, but also in history. They can come outside and look at it almost anytime they want to, and a lot of people do. But we're open basically for research, okay? We're open on Thursdays and Fridays, and the second and fourth Saturdays of the month. We're open here for visitation on Wednesdays, okay? We're closed, it's best to say closed, we're closed on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So that's on our web page. It kind of fluctuates and changes. So, and all our hours are on our web page. You know, we have brochures here, same thing.